The next chapter is about to begin. Join us live every Tuesday and Thursday for brand new episodes of the American Contractor Show. Our mission is to bring you the latest tools, innovations, and knowledge to help you become the most informed contractor in your market. Knowledge is the ultimate power, and we are connecting you with the most knowledgeable minds in our industry. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. American Contractors, I hope you're ready. This one's for you.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the for changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor that's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
Good afternoon, Hail Stalkers. You've got Derek today doing the forecast. We obviously had a active weekend, or maybe not obviously, but we did. We had a very active weekend. Started on really Thursday with hail in Denver, continued into Friday. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And yesterday wasn't quite as active, but there was still quite a bit of activity across the country. Want to give our sponsors a big shout out, The Art of the Supplement with Balance Claims, C3 Group, and Merlin Law Group. Again, thanking them for everything that they put together. We spend a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort into this, so that helps us to be able to continue to provide this forecast to you. So make sure to give them a like on Facebook if you have not, or just follow them in general. Give them a shout out with an email or a phone call. Get to know those guys a little bit better. They're really awesome guys in the industry, and I think you can really appreciate what it is that they do. So jumping right on in, again, obviously I'm wearing green today. We've got the bow tie right here that you're seeing through. Got the sport jacket on, the jacket on. We got the suit, the green belt. Everything is green today, and that's because we had a 5-star map, and that was actually on Friday, so we held it over to the weekend so everybody could see the green suit, see everything in action, and that was up in Rapid City, South Dakota, actually. So let's jump into it. The weather headlines for today. Yeah, there it is. Green Pants. Very active weekend. One of the more active weekends we've had probably in over a month. So things really got going. How many billion-dollar weather events have we had? We did a post on Facebook about that I think it was this morning or yesterday. And so a lot of conversations around that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And more activity expected across the plains today and tomorrow. So it doesn't look like the activity necessarily is just going to shut off. I do think we'll have some slower days in between, but there's going to be, I think, a few active days as well where we might have some fairly significant hailstorms around the country. So let's jump right on into it here. There it is. There's Drake up there with the 5 stars, throwing them down. And here's what we had to deal with. Here's the 5-star map. This is kind of zoomed out there, but you can see really ripped right across Rapid City, South Dakota. We're talking high volumes of tennis ball size hail. This was not a slow storm. We've seen multiple photos of lots of damage, and it hit a lot of things as well. So again, max hail size up over 3 inch in diameter. That's bigger than baseballs. And that's pretty tough to do when it talk about rolling through the Dakotas there with all of the Black Hills there in place. So 28,000 homes impacted. Again, that's tough to do as well because Rapid City is not a super large city, but it hit not all of it, but it hit a good portion of it with some fairly large hail. And actually, this isn't the first hailstorm to hit Rapid City. We had a 4-star last week as well, and we had a 4-star earlier in the year. So they've had 2 4-stars and a 5-star map in Rapid City, South Dakota. Kind of taking over the reins for Denver this year. And Dallas is Rapid City, kind of a small town. In fact, I think there's actually some studies that show that Rapid City, South Dakota, actually gets more golf ball size hail or larger per square mile than any city in the U.S. How about that for a stat? Big time hail across, again, South Dakota. And here's a look at some of the photos. Look at some of these big hail, lots of it, lots of volume, and kind of went all weekend. We actually, and like I said, we had a lot of activity that continued through the weekend. Here's a look at Illinois, believe it or not. We had a 3-star map in Illinois. There was even some hail in Indiana over towards Terre Haute and Indianapolis, mainly quarter size in that part of the country, but there was plenty of activity over there as well. This map ended up being a 3-star with hail near Peoria and Champaign. Here's a look at some of the photos and some of the stats behind that hail event. Again, up to tennis ball, that was fairly isolated. That was not the common size of hail that occurred, but it did impact with quarter size hail up to 47,000 homes. So again, fairly decent. Now, when you see us rank 47,000 homes as a 3-star map, that's kind of an indicator that not all this hail, not all these 47,000 homes are going to have damage. But we did think it was an okay hailstorm. There will be some damage out of this hailstorm. And somebody, my favorite pick of the weekend right there, somebody in Illinois loves hail as much as us. There it is, the heart, lots of hail again. And you can see fairly decent amount. If you look at this picture of the grass back here, that's a lot of hail laying on the ground, and those aren't small stones. So wherever that was probably some damaging hail. So big time storm and good stuff there. Then we had another 3-star map. Look at them, they just kept coming. This is in Iowa. Again, Saturday, over 220 reports of hail in the United States. So it was very active. Stuff was spread out all over the place. Again, in Iowa, 3-inch hail in diameter, up to 114,000 homes. Now again, 3-star, 114,000 homes. Not everybody got damage, okay? So when you see 114,000, that's how many homes were impacted with hail over the weekend or over that stretch of time in Iowa. But again, there's going to be some damage in here. We look at these photos, look at the size of this hail, look at the volume. There's quite a few hailstones there. And so we've tried to highlight where those pockets are so that way you can get in and hone in on what that damage might look like. And our last 3-star map of the weekend was actually for wind. Had a significant wind event that occurred across Oklahoma. Here it is, Oklahoma City, Tulsa. I was actually in some 60-mile-per-hour winds up near Skytook, Oklahoma. That's where I was over the weekend. But the hardest hit area was actually near Norman, Oklahoma. Where we had winds up to 85 miles per hour. Look at some of this damage here. You can see power lines down. We've got some siding, the eaves kind of being sucked out from underneath the roof here. We've got trees down on cars. This was a common sight. Lots of places, especially in Norman, without power for an extended period, up to 24 hours. So there was a significant wind event that occurred, and that was partially due to the significant amount of heat they had in Oklahoma. Saturday, temperatures anywhere from 95 to 105 with heat index over 120 degrees in Oklahoma. It was a scorcher. All that instability built up. We had instability over 8,000 joules per kilogram. Significant instability no matter what time of year it is. In fact, near record-breaking instability. And some of these storm tops that caused some of this reached over 67,000 feet. 67,000 feet. We're talking close to 70,000 foot tall storms in Oklahoma, and that's what contributed to the high winds that you saw. across Oklahoma. So some significant stuff there. Now, this was something that was kind of fun here. See if I can get my clicker to work here. This came out from NOAA, and it was talking about the billion-dollar disasters so far this year across the United States. And we've got 2 of them that registered for hail here. So we've got San Antonio. You guys remember the San Antonio hailstorm, May 27th. That was one of our 5-star maps so far this year. That was a billion-dollar storm. And they actually combined a couple of events, and that would be Davenport, Cedar Rapids, and then over into the Chicago and Rockford areas on April 7th and the 8th. That was actually the first 5-star maps that we produced this year. Those also combining to do up to $1 billion in damage. Now we have a handful of all these are for severe weather. Some of them are combined. You can see March 2nd and 4th was a big-time tornado in Tennessee. Those of you remember the F4 tornado that occurred in Nashville, big-time storm. January 10th and 12th, we had significant tornadoes and some flooding with that one. And the eastern tornado outbreak of April 12th and 13th, that was, I think, Easter weekend. Big-time tornado outbreak occurred. And then these other ones with these thunderstorms, those were big-time wind events. So we've had a lot of high wind this year. In fact, more wind than most years have occurred, especially from basically Texas and Oklahoma, the borders right there of Arkansas, Louisiana to the east. That's where most of the big events have been so far this year. And so, again, this is on pace to break record numbers with 10 separate events already from January through June. Now, June did definitely slow down. July, though, has kind of picked back up again. So we'll see if we have any more billion-dollar events that occur. Love to see what your thoughts are in the comments. Is this true? Are you guys seeing damage that matches up to this? Maybe it springs something on that you're missing some spots too. So hopefully this helps you out and can give you something to critically think about as it comes to severe weather. So let's take a look at the forecast for today. Again, we talked about more hail possible going across the United States and some wind as well. There's going to be some high wind with some of this stuff. Today in Denver, I think storms probably going to fire just off the Front Range, and I think it's going to be just to the east of Denver. But we're going to keep you guys low chance here. I think most of the storms probably stay just to the west of Minneapolis. We're going to have to watch those very closely as well to see exactly where that occurs. Fargo, again, possibly in between Fargo and Minneapolis. Sioux Falls probably with the best chance when it comes to the Midwest. And then there are some thunderstorms across Shreveport. I think wind will probably be the bigger threat, but there could be a little bit of hail with some of those storms. And again, you see the biggest hail in our hatched region here across parts of eastern Colorado. So we're talking Fort Morgan, Lyman, up in that part of the state with the potential, even North Platte, Nebraska, some of those areas seeing some of the best threat for large hail today across the state of Nebraska. Here's what it looks like on radar. You can see this complex right here races off to the south and east. There's that chance for hail there. And then you can see the large thunderstorms. We'll let it rip through here one more time for you so you can see the area where those big storms are. But here they go right over and just to the east of Denver. We're going to watch it. Denver is not out on this, okay? So we're going to watch that very closely. And I think this is going to be a trend that we're going to see right over the next couple of days, possibly as long as the next 10 days. Not every day, but several days are going to have a threat for large hail across the Front Range. So that includes Denver, Colorado Springs. Get ready. I think we've got some chances of some hail in a pattern that's been a little bit more favorable, okay, than what we've had in the past. So we're going to watch that very closely to see how much hail or if we can generate some hail across the Front Range. So definitely something to watch. As we head off to the northern plains here, you can see more severe weather backs up. And these storms may be pretty intense, but definitely more of a wind threat, especially as they move into the Minneapolis area. But if they can stay isolated, hail threat is definitely there. So we're going to have to watch that extremely, extremely close so we can see that. I see somebody wanting some more hail in San Antonio with the $1 billion hailstorm. I love it. We'll see. It's maybe October. It's a little hard to get hail down in San Antonio this time of year. But here it is again. You can see Denver back in the hail forecast again for tomorrow. And again, potentially Minneapolis. We'll see how far that front sags to the south. But we're going to be talking Omaha, Wichita, Kansas City, Des Moines, Davenport. All you guys, low-end chances there. Could see some hail. We'll have to see what the thunderstorms do tonight. So watch the forecast tomorrow. That'll give you a better idea of exactly where all of this all this activity will actually fire. The thunderstorms might push the front a little further south, could remove Omaha out of play, or make it more intense for Des Moines or Kansas City. So we'll have to watch that very closely as we head through the day tomorrow to see exactly where everything lines up at. And here's what it looks like on radar. You can see thunderstorms fire first in Iowa. Again, stuff in the Front Range and a little bit of a break in between, but with the most intense activity across parts of Nebraska up into Iowa. So again, we'll watch that. We'll see what it looks like as we get into tomorrow afternoon. And we'll have more with the latest on the forecast tomorrow afternoon. So here it is again from the north. So this is Minnesota. We talked about them. You can see thunderstorms fire right on top of Minnesota, right on top of Minneapolis. Watch that closely to see exactly who gets what. So that's the forecast for today. Hope you enjoyed the green here. Makes it easy on me. I don't have to get out of the way. Everything just blends right through me. But here you can see, follow us on YouTube. You'll get our alerts. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We do everything live, push everything out to you guys. Keep you guys up to date. Let us know if anything happens. We will keep you up to date on Denver this afternoon, as well as all other potential cities that could have hail. Hope you have a great day. Hope you enjoyed the green. We will talk to you soon. Hopefully we'll be wearing this suit again very quickly. Have a good day.